Rachel, welcome to the sofa.
Hello, Kat. Thank you for having me.
Now, I have a little game for you. So you treated me to a game of Name That Bitch a few weeks ago, but I've done my version, Name That Bitch Pokémon Edition.
Oh, exciting.
Because I know you have played Pokemon, you are aware of their existence, but you've been not exposed to a lot of the more recent generations. They're still a bit alien to you.
Yes, so I am very familiar with the original 151. Anything after that, no, don't know it, don't care for it.
So I have 10 Pokemon here. As you know, Pokemon tend to have names related to how they look, what they do, what they are, and they all have the different types. So grass, water, fire, electric, steel, fire, fighting, flairy. So what I want you to do is have a guess at what you think their name might be, what their typing might be, and then I've got posing another question to you about each one. So are we ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
And our first Pokemon is...
Okay, so we've got a kind of dog-looking Pokemon, dark legs, a yellow sort of back and top of the head with a white neck and face. Very much looks like a dog with a bit of a spiky tail. And I really like this guy.
I thought you would enjoy this good boy.
I do, he's a good boy. Okay, so I think, first of all, I think he's going to be electric based on the fact that he's sort of black and yellow. So I think he's going to be electric type.
Okay, electric is locked in. Now, any
Yep.
clues or any ideas what the name might be or what you might call this good boy?
See, I think he could be a big cat, but I think it looks more like a dog. So it's going to be something like, so canine. Canine. It's going to be a play on something like that. So maybe Canazap? That's so bad.
Now you say that, that's actually really quite close to the truth.
Is it? Oh god.
Well, your thought pattern is exactly the same as this. So his name is actually Bolthund.
Oh.
So this is
okay.
Bolthund. So yeah, Bolt in terms of kind of electricity,
Bolt
and
would have
then
been better.
but Canazap is also would also be good. And yes, he quite clearly is an electric type. So he was introduced in the most recent generation in Pokemon Sword and Shield and is an evolution of Yamper, which you might have seen from promotional materials, as that's a corgi with a big heart for a butt.
Oh, I haven't seen it, but I wish that I had, because
And
that sounds adorable.
it's slightly so over the top sweet, but obviously with Pokemon Sword and Shield being based in the UK, having corgis, the Queen was just too easy
Classic.
not to be done.
Oh,
So,
and it's called Yamper. Oh.
so Bolton does have some notes in the Pokedex about his athletic ability.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to kind of guess what his athletic ability is like?
Oh, well, he's a dog, so he's gonna probably have some pretty good stamina. He looks quite muscular. He looks like an agile dog. I feel like he'd do well in the Crufts arena. I think he'd be quite good at that. He's probably quite quick. I think he's very agile. I think he's quick, and I think he's got a very good engine in him.
My goodness, yeah, pretty much. There's notes in a Pokedex entry that he can run for 3 days without stopping and breaks 50 miles an hour.
Wow, that's fast for a dog.
And that's very accurate.
Yeah. Oh, I'm pretty pleased with that. And he's a good boy, so I'm glad I did him well. Well, did him justice.
So, name this Pokemon bitch next.
Right. Okay, so we've got an owl-looking little guy. He's red. He's got white spiky face and neck, and I can't tell whether it's a tail or he's holding a bag. Little beak. He kind of looks like an owl/penguin. I'm getting owl/penguin. I have no idea what type this guy is. It doesn't look like he can fly, so maybe he's... Ooh, well, he's red, so maybe he's a fighting type. I'll come back to that. I think he's kind of owly, so I think he's going to be called something like... It's going to be something hoot related, so maybe... I think that is a bag, so maybe he's stolen something. Hoot napper?
Hoot Napper, okay.
Hoot Napper, and I think he's normal, possibly fighting.
Normal fighting. Okay, so Hoot Napper, the normal fighting type. Unfortunately, that's not quite as close as you were previously.
Oh man.
Rachel, meet Delibird. Delibird, meet Rachel. Now, Delibird is actually ice flying.
What? I'm sorry. Can we just, looking at this picture, there is no way this thing can fly.
So he does fly, nests on cliffs, and it's interesting you picked up that, yes, that is his tail, but it's also used to carry things. So my question to you is, what do you think Delibird carries in his bag/tail?
So the fact that he's called Delibird, sandwiches or food of some
Yeah.
kind. Yeah.
Yeah, it's commonly believed that it's food. There's a lot of comments in the Pokédex entries because he lives in really high places that they deliver food to lost travelers. So you picked up on the fact that he's red. He's obviously got the kind of very fluffy white bits. He's also based on Father Christmas or Santa Claus. So you'll see him in a lot of games delivering presents as well.
Delivering sandwiches.
And presents. Yeah.
I still have to dispute the idea that this thing can fly to very high cliffs. Not with those wings, not with those little penguin
Not with
flippers.
those flippers. Time for Pokemon number 3. Name this bitch.
Right, so we've got a green blob with what could be ears, but also look a little bit like leaves. 2 little feet, and I have no idea what's protruding out of the left and right side of his face. He's also got quite big eyes and pointy teeth, and like a crack down the middle of his face. The things that are coming out of the side of his face kind of look like rabbit ears. Oh, this guy is he's a bit different.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit
He's a
different. I
little
remember there was,
special.
when this guy was announced or revealed, there was quite a bit of kickback, and quite a few people did not like this guy. This poor little guy was not very popular when he was announced.
It does look like he's stuck a rabbit's ears on the side of his face, so I do kind of get it. But I mean, he doesn't look angry, he doesn't look aggressive, even though he's got spiky feet. He looks kind of sad.
Oh,
So
you just want
I
to give him a cuddle.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I want to cuddle him, but he does look a little bit sad. Think he's gonna be, see, he's green, which makes me think he's maybe grass type. In terms of what his name is, he kind of looks like a planty boulder, so maybe something like Boulder Nash.
Boulder Dash. Oh, yeah, okay, like Boulder Dash, like a load of rubbish.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Boulder Nash.
Well, no.
Oh.
I've realised that I could have given it away, and hopefully someone who can pick up from a description laughed when I said it was a load of rubbish, because this is the trash bag Pokemon Trubbish.
Has he killed a rabbit and stuck its ears to his face?
So those are supposed to be the handles of the rubbish bag, of the trash bag being tied up, and those are the handles, and then the bits that's
I'm
coming out the
sorry, but
side is
whose
the actual
rubbish bag?
garbage coming out.
Whose? Oh, I have so many questions about this.
Yeah, it was really not popular. People really did not like the fact that a bag of garbage was turned into a
Now
Pokemon.
you've said it, I can almost see the rubbish bag side of things. But why has he got such sharp teeth? What does he need sharp teeth for?
To eat the rubbish, I believe. I think he goes
Oh,
around and collecting stuff. So, I mean, the question that I had for you was, it's also apparently based on an animal. So, what animal was it? It is a rabbit because it's actually a pun on the idea of dust bunnies. So, those little balls of kind of
yeah.
dust and clumps that go around the house. It's also a pun on that, and it does evolve into Garbadois. I'll probably butcher the saying of that. Uh,
Garbadois. That sounds rather posh.
Garbadois,
Garbadois.
which is an even bigger bag of rubbish, and it's actually a poison type.
Has he also eaten a rabbit?
It's also got kind of fluffy ears, but yeah, it's a massive bag of rubbish that's actually ripped, and just all the rubbish is cascading everywhere. But it's got kind of cute bunny ears and just big pointy teeth and nasty stuff in its hands.
Yeah, I
You
don't
see it?
think they're my favorite.
No, definitely not many people's favorite. And then because this was introduced in black and white, and then in the most recent Sword and Shield, he did get a Gigantamax form, where he's kind of absorbed toy planes and things like that. It's quite creepy.
Yeah. I mean, what type was it? Poison.
Poison.
Yeah. This is why the the original 151 are so much better.
Yes, because Muck and Grimer are definitely not like this at all.
They are dignified and they are delightful.
And you definitely want a big pile of sludge in your home rather than a trubbish.
Well, rather than the
Okay. Okay. Moving on. Our next Pokemon, name this bitch.
So we've got a seagull holding what looks like a leek or a spring onion as a sword, and another kind of veggie thing as a shield. What? There's a lot happening in this picture. So you've got an angry seagull wielding a veggie sword and shield.
You do,
So
yes.
so I think he's going to be a flying type because this dude actually does look like he's got proper wings that you can actually fly with.
Mm-hmm. Can you fly effectively if you're holding a sword and shield?
I would like to know where he stashes it when he's on the move. How does that play into it? So he's going to be. Because he looks like a seagull. I'm going to go for something with gull. So like a spring onion or a leek. I'm not sure they would use those because they're quite Englishy. So Gullabulb?
Gullabulb, okay. And did you say a flying type for Gullabulb?
Yes, flying.
Quite off base, but you've made some interesting observations. So he is holding a sword and shield because he was first introduced in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now that was set in the UK. The reason that he has such a long leek is actually the Japanese designers were so surprised at how long British leeks are compared to Japanese leeks. And they
Oh, it
kind
is
of
a
find it
leek.
quite funny.
Oh.
Yeah, it really is a leek. And that's the reason why it's so long, is they just kind of were surprised at how long they were. Now, obviously you are a fan of the original 151 more so than anything else. He's actually the evolution of Farfetch'd. If you remember that little brown duck that
No.
holds a spring onion, this is his evolution. So all these years later, after only appearing in Red and Blue, he finally gets an evolution in 2019. He is now called Surfetch'd.
Oh my god. Bulbagull is much. Oh no, what did I say? Gullabulb. Oh, Bulbagull's better. They're both better than Farfetch with his spring
Surfetch'd.
onion. I don't. Yeah, I don't. Can he fly?
He can't.
Now, this is
He's not a
absolutely
flying type.
ridiculous because if you look, you can see. I'm sorry, but you can see this guy has got proper wings. The way he's holding that leek, you can see his feathers. Those are flying wings. Mr.
So
Hooty, whatever his name was, Mr. Hoot,
Delibird.
Delibird, he he can fly with his little flippers, and this dude can't with his actual flying wings. I am furious.
Now, Farfetch'd evolves into Surfetch'd when they have shown prowess in battle. So Surfetch'd is actually a fighting type.
Oh my goodness.
And
Oh
so
yeah, I
with
can
that,
see it. He's gonna kick ass with his spring onion, his leek, with his giant leek.
So knowing that it's having to show prowess in battle, how do you think that you evolve a Farfetch'd into a Surfetch'd?
Can I
It
just
does
say?
have an unusual evolution.
I mean, it's a big leek, but it's still a leek. How are you supposed to fight with a leek? That thing would snap.
We do not question the logic of our overlords of Pokemon.
I have nothing but questions.
But how do we evolve a
so prowess in battle? So it's got to be something to do with the spring onion, I think. Maybe they have fought in. I mean, did Farfetch fight with their spring onion?
Yes, they use that when they fight.
Yeah, so maybe when their spring onion is like fell apart or something.
In order to evolve a Surfetch'd, you have to land 3 critical hits in one battle.
Oh.
And one of the items that does boost your critical hit chance is a held item of a leek.
Sounds far-fetched to me. Oh God, I
Next
can't.
Pokemon.
Okay, next one. Okay, I think I have seen a picture. I don't know what it's called and I don't know what type it is, but I think I've seen this picture maybe before or something similar. So we've got again another bird looking thing. He's got quite sharp talons. He's got some wingage going on. Looks a little bit more slightly well. He's got a dorsal fin on the top of his head, some sharp teeth. It's kind of a grey with reddish wings. This is kind of a bird shark, more bird than shark, I would say. Because of the talons, it's going to be a bird of prey, so maybe a falcon or an eagle or a kestrel, something like that. I'm going to go for kestrel because I really like the word kestrel. And a shark because it's got a fin, so maybe like kestrafin?
Kestrafin, okay. And what type is Kestrafin?
This is going to be another absolutely infuriating answer because it has wings, so it should be a flying type, but whether it can fly is
It's not guaranteed in Pokemon in the slightest.
yeah,
Not
exactly.
guaranteed.
So I'm gonna say flying because it's got talons, so surely they are used for flying, but also he looks he's got the right colors to be like an ice or something. Maybe, but then sharky boy. So, all right, I'm gonna go for flying and water.
Flying and water. Okay. So Kestrafin is actually steel flying because that's metal its body is made out of.
That's fair.
That's fair. And it does fly. But Kestrafin
Phew.
is actually better known as Skarmory. As a
I'm
film
not
where there's
getting that.
steel and armory.
Oh,
Armory and
right,
weapons
okay.
and steel, that kind of thing. And yes, as you pointed out, with the dorsal fin on the top of its head is very aerodynamic and can actually reach speeds of 180 miles an hour.
Wow.
Now, Kestrafins are actually quite useful to humans. How do you think they're useful to humans? How would we use?
How well they're made of metal and they've got. Do they get rid of pests maybe with their talons?
Not quite. No, they when their feathers fall off from age or growing, humans use it as swords. They use their wings as swords. Their feathers as swords. Sorry.
God. Right, yeah, because what else would you use a feather for?
Well, if it's made out of solid metal, then that's fairly
So then
sensible.
again, my question is, if its wings are made of solid metal and it's tiny like that, and their individual feathers can fall out, how can it fly up to
We
180
don't
miles an
question.
hour?
We do not question the logic of Pokemon
Okay.
because that's when it all falls apart. We don't go any deeper.
Okay, all right.
Okay, next Pokemon.
Okay, this guy looks derpy. So immediately I thought Barracuda. He's got that kind of menacing sort of teeth and eyes that Barracuda has. Colors aren't quite right.
But the toothy
But
situation up front is on
yeah,
point for that.
yeah. So I would say he's very Barracuda, except he's kind of muddy looking. So he's brown haired, kind of greenish body, orange fins, and you can see what look like his bones, his backbone. So he kind of looks like a swampy barracuda. If you were to imagine a barracuda that lived in a swamp, this is
Mm-hmm.
exactly what
This is what would evolve.
this is what I think it would be. On that basis, I'm going to say this guy's name. I'm going to go for Marshacuda.
Marshacuda. Okay, so what type is Marshacuda?
Marshacuda is water, presumably, because he's a swampy barracuda. And he looks mischievous, so I feel like he's probably going to be poison or something, but I'm not sure. I'm going to go for water.
Incredibly accurate. So, yeah, this guy, Marshacuda, is actually just a pure water type. It is based on a barracuda. However, its name is Barrascuda, which is not far away from Marshacuda. However, I will point out that its pre-evolution, the younger version of it is actually an Arrowcuda.
Right.
So actually,
Okay.
yeah, that was pretty good. Either, the creators weren't very inventive with their names, or you're just amazing. So I'll let,
Barraskewda.
yeah,
Right.
Barraskewda. So based on
Barraskewda.
that, how do you think that it attacks its prey?
Barracudas generally stay very still and then will move very quickly. So I would say they probably do that. They probably hang around for ages, and then when the time is right, bam, got the fish.
Pretty much specifically, they ram and spear their prey.
He's got like a cheeky little face.
I know.
I quite like him.
I've just noticed that he's almost got like a curly mustache as well,
Yeah, he's got that kind of like cartoon villain
like a Dick
look to
Dastardly
him. Yeah.
style mustache on
Yeah.
him. Okay, on to our next Pokemon. Name this bitch.
Okay, so the first thing that came to my head when I saw it was Viking, because this guy is kind of fluffy. He looks fluffy. He looks like he's got a sword or a knife or something in his hand. He's got sort of vambraces and the traditional Hollywood Viking horned helmet thing going on. Even though, can I just tell you, there is no evidence at all that Vikings wore horned helmets.
There we go.
So, yeah. He looks to me, now I'm getting a Meowth vibe from this guy because of that. He's got like a bit on his forehead. So Meowth has got, I think it's red in the originals. I can't really remember, but I'm kind of getting that vibe from him. He looks like he's got a beard like a Viking. So, based on that, I think this is going to be a kind of Viking feline mashup. So, Perkery.
Perkery. What?
based on based on the purr of a cat, but also Viking or / Norse mythology Valkyrie. So Perkery.
Okay. And what type is Perkery?
Perkery is if it's based on Viking, it's got to be a fighting.
Okay.
So Perkery.
Okay. And what do you think that it evolves from?
I'm getting a Meowth vibe, so I think it's a
Yes.
Meowth.
Okay. So in Pokemon Sword and Shield, when Perkery was introduced, there was a different form of Meowth. There's a Galarian Meowth, and there is also still the Kanto Meowth. Now, you can still get a Kanto Meowth that evolves into a Persian, but if you have a Galarian Meowth, it evolves into this. Now, this is not a Perkery, but my goodness, we were close. It's a Berserker,
Oh,
which
oh,
is
so close.
infuriatingly close.
So
Um,
close.
And again, yes, it is based on Vikings and all that kind of thing. So whilst we kind of I can see the reasoning behind it being fighting, it's actually a steel type.
Oh, nothing about this person is saying steel. He's fluffy.
You give this guy a big old cuddle.
Yeah. He
I'll tell you
doesn't
what.
look metallic. There's nothing metallic about this. So again, I'm not happy with that. I feel like I need to get a job at writing Pokemon.
I can tell you now, it's not cute and fluffy when these guys stalk you out in the wild area and start chasing you. Okay, our next one. What Pokemon is this?
So this one is cute. It's basically Bambi's mom. So we've got I'm assuming it's a lady because of the flowers and the antlers. So it's a doe with a nice fluffy chest, couple of pink spots on its back, and then again in the antlers. Oh no, saying that, the ladies don't have antlers, do they?
Now, this Pokemon actually does have some different forms. I wanted to show you this one so you got a good close-up look. But these are the other forms that you get in the game.
I'm getting some proper 80s vibes from these guys.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I'm getting the kind of like the bushy hair from the guy in the middle. I'm getting the flares from the guy on the right. I'm getting a lot of 80s vibes here. Right, okay, so all of these have different names.
They're all it's all the same Pokemon, but these are just different forms. They just look different, but
So the
they'll have the same
form, so even
stats and things like that.
so whichever one it is, it's called the same thing.
Yeah, these are all called the same thing. They've all got the same stats. They've just got a different
Right, okay,
look to them.
so the flowers are not helpful in the naming process. It's going to be, they're all kind of naturey. They look like seasons.
Okay.
I feel like there's 4 of them, and each of them kind of looks like it represents a season. And it's a deer. Caesar deer?
Caesar deer. Okay. What type is Caesar deer?
Caesar deer is, I want to say normal, but I don't think you've put any normals in because he wants to be a normal type. Maybe fighting?
Okay, so we have Caesar deer that has 4 different forms and is a fighting type.
That's my
Okay,
answer, and I'm sticking to it.
you're sticking to it. Okay, you were close with normal because it is actually normal grass. You perhaps should have just stuck
Oh,
that out a little longer. And again, it ridiculously, again, I'm not sure if this is not a reflection of Pokemon or yourself, but Caesar deer is quite close. This is Sawsbuck, so SAWS
oh,
buck. And obviously the saws part, it stands for summer, autumn, winter, spring.
ah,
Isn't
right.
that so witty?
It
And
is.
these guys were introduced in Black and White, which had quite a lot of theming around seasons and zodiac and things like that.
Who's your favourite? I have a very clear favourite.
I really like spring.
I really like winter.
It's the
I
flares,
really like
isn't
the
it?
it's the flares. I never ever ever wear flares, but I am vibing off
You
these flares
appreciate.
right now.
Brilliant. Okay, next Pokemon. Name this bitch.
Okay, so this looks like a cat badger with a butt face. So its face looks
Okay.
like a butt with ears. It's got badger colouring, so it's got sort of a black middle, a white top, and a white underneath. Quite sharp claws, again, like a badger. But cat eyes and cat ears and a cat nose, and it's got whiskers. So
And a
this is,
spot for a face.
and most importantly, a butt for a face. So I think this is going to be a cat badger. So it's going to end in j, maybe like badger. So something like cadger for cat, or is it not going to be quite as obvious as that? Go for cadger.
Cadger. And what
For
type is
cadger.
Cadger?
Cadger is, again, it looks normal. It doesn't look like he's got, apart from like the sharp bit of his tail, but I don't know whether that's sharp or whether that's just fluffy. So normal?
Normal.
Cadger
Okay.
is normal apart from his butt face.
Okay. After our really good streak, we had like 3 excellent ones there of Marshacuda, Perkery, and Caesar Deer. Unfortunately, Cadger is quite off the mark. This is actually based on a skunk.
Oh yeah, okay, I can see it.
Yeah, so it's based off
But I
this.
thought, is this from Sword and Shield?
No.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, I thought it might be. Therefore, it'd be a badger. Okay,
Ah,
so
you were kind
skunk.
of
I can.
second guessing. Now, there is a
Yeah.
badger
So
type Pokemon in Sword and Shield.
yeah, I thought there would be. So okay, so skunky. I can see the skunk. That's fine. But
Okay.
skunk.
Cadger is not normal, it's poison dark, which makes a bit more sense now you don't realise that.
Hmm.
And based on the skunk name, its name is Stunky.
It looks like a stunky.
It does, isn't that just the absolute most apt name for it? And
Absolute skunk.
I just think it's kind of adorable, and it does evolve into a Skuntank as its
Oh,
evolution.
would you have a stunky in your home?
You know what? I'd love if it was ethical and it was okay in the UK. I would totally have a pet skunk. They are adorable.
Can you imagine tickling that little butt face?
The butt face does put me off a little bit from Stunky though, but it just be so
Stunky,
fluffy.
absolute stunky.
So of course, as you might imagine, that Stunky does attack with very smelly fluid. The Pokedex is quite specific in how far the smell travels and how long the smell lasts for. So did you want to
Ooh.
guess how far the smell travels and how long the smell lasts for?
So I actually think a skunk's scent lasts for a while. Is the unit days? Weeks?
Yeah, we were talking day.
Eh.
I might have given it away. So it does last for 24 hours. That's one day. But how far away do you think you can smell a Stunky?
I think with the human nose, maybe 3 miles?
It's just the 1 mile. So this
I
is
was
our.
gonna say one, and then I thought, no, it's Pokemon. It's got to be exaggerated.
It's still a long way. A
Well,
mile.
yeah, that's still what. Yeah, that's a long way.
Okay, and our final Pokemon for this round of Name That Bitch Pokemon Edition is.
Okay, so there's a bit going on here. So we've got a caterpillar-looking little guy, kind of cute. Got mostly yellow with black in the middle, and then the spikes on top are red, and the spikes at the side are red, with little black feet. He's got quite cute blue eyes and a big horn at the front. I'm very much getting a caterpillar vibe, and I think this guy is electric.
Okay.
Could be fire with the red. I think no, I'm going to stick with electric. That was my initial thought. So, Thunderpillar?
Thunderpillar. Okay. So you're right in it. It's sort of based on a caterpillar. Now, it's all going to make sense when I point out another influence on this Pokemon. This Pokemon is also influenced by the ancient Greeks. And
Yeah,
you can see
Spartan.
the Spartan influence,
Yeah.
the shields and all that kind of thing. So adorably, I love this little guy. They are really small. This is called a phalanx.
Oh.
And as part of their moves set and so on, they kind of make different formations. And yeah, they do represent a Greek
My
phalanx.
inner history nerd is tingling right now.
And because of
Oh, this is
this,
delicious.
and because of this, they are actually a fighting type because they are very fierce and able to kind of protect themselves. So as you can see, one phalanx is actually made up of 6 individuals, the same way that something like Execute does. Pretty much always march in single file with the leader at the front that has that longer horn than the rest. Now, the leader does have a special name, or it's known as something else. Any guesses as to what this leader one might be called?
So Spartan based. Trying to think of the Spartans. The general?
So that one at the front is actually known as the Brass.
As in Brassidas.
Oh, now I imagined it was because this is from Pokemon Sword and Shield, so kind of a lot of British influences. So I didn't know if it was kind of British slang of like top brass, the boss kind of thing. But who was Brassidas?
So Brassidas was a Spartan fighter. He was quite a famous Spartan because they were really aggressive and they were obviously big into fighting. That was everything they're about. But he was quite charming for a Spartan. Spartans were not known for being funny or charming or nice, but he was quite charming. He was a famous guy. He died. He and Cleon died at the same battle. Cleon was the Athenian leader at the time.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I know.
maybe a bit of both. Maybe a bit of both.
So who would have thought we came here for a game of Name That Bitch Pokemon Edition? We end up crafting new theories on naming conventions in Pokemon.
So as that was our last Pokemon, if you could have any of these and keep them as a pet, so it's ethical and safe to do so, you can keep one of these Pokemon in your home. Which one do you keep?
Oh, almost certainly going to be Bolton's because it's just a good boy.
Oh, I do think so as well. He is a really good boy. But also, I do like this little guy because Spartans. But yeah, I'd probably go for the good boy.
Boy.
Mm.
Okay, excellent. Well,
That
thank you
was
very
fun. I enjoyed that.
much. Yeah, I'm surprised at how close we
Some
got on some of them, and
were
then others were
close.
just completely wide of the mark. Now, if you did enjoy this game of Name That Bitch, we have already played this game where Rachel was quizzing me on some video game characters on a much wider spectrum of games that I've not played to see if I could guess their names. We've also got a number of different quizzes that are up as well. So please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.